Hey, what is up guys? This is Cobb. Welcome to the extremely young account of Mr. Grozol Yoti, as he's called on Discord, also known as John Barrett, not even into his first 30 days in Raid Shadow Legends, and we're going to be giving all kinds of tips in this video, doing multiple takeovers in this video, talking about what to do in your first month of Raid, what to focus on, what kind of champions to be building out. I'm also going to be rebuilding a whole bunch of champions on this account as well. We've got the Ugo sitting in some random pieces of cruel gear, which is interesting to say the least. We've also got some speed rolls going on here as well, which I like the speed rolls on the Ugo, but we've got a lot of rebuilding to do on at least the three, I guess, core champions of this account so far. They're going to be recommending some champions to go ahead and rank up next. Now, one thing that is key to note on this account is that we have not yet cleared hard mode campaign. I believe that we do have the tools to do this. We should have the tools in this account to go all the way to Brutal Stage 12 at this point, which is going to drastically speed up the rate at which we are clearing content and, most importantly, leveling up and ranking up new champions and leveling food champions and stuff on the account going forward. That's always your first job when you're first getting started in Raid, man. It's to get usually your starter champion ranked up to 6 stars, level 60, as quickly as you possibly can. The Kale is actually already 6 stars, so that's great. Awesome. It's great that we've prioritized him. I think his skills are also maxed out. They are, so that's also really, really good. But his gear is a little bit all over the place, man. Hey, before we go ahead and fix it, if you're looking to get involved in this account takeover series and want me to take a look at your account and present some feedback in a video like this one, then the best way to do that is to sign up to Raid using my beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description box. Using that link is going to give you 4 free epic champions to kickstart your new account, and will also give you a priority pass to get involved in this account takeover series like Mr. Barrett. And while you're down there starting off your new account using that link, down below that link is a link to our Discord server as well, where you can actually submit your account for takeover in the account takeover submissions channel. Okay, man, let's go ahead and take over the kill. Speaking of takeovers, and go ahead and just, I've already prepared a gear set that we're going to go ahead and slam on the Kale real quick. Basically, for some reason, the Kale was removed from ranked up lifesteal gear, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and throw some perception pieces on him. We're also going to take away the Ugo's weapon, which is frankly an excellent weapon to have on a damage dealer that requires accuracy like Kill. And so we're going to go ahead and steal that back. With this new build, we are looking at some drastically improved stats here and there. A lot more attack damage, by a hell of a lot, like 600 attack damage gained, a bit more speed, 100% crit rate attained, which is really, really good. And even though our accuracy takes a little bit of a hit, goes down to 130, that's about enough to clear like stage 12, stage 13 of dungeons, which I haven't checked yet, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that we aren't exactly pushing stage 16 dungeons just yet on this account anyway. So this accuracy will do for now, and eventually we can farm up an accuracy banner in Spider anyway, and that will just add like 80 accuracy to our kill, right? So I think it's fine to go ahead and switch this gear in and just gain all kinds of attack stats, and most importantly, get our campaign farmer back in that lifesteal set, man, because I think we're just going to go ahead and make a push for into Brutal Campaign using this kill just now, once we're done rebuilding some guys. I've also got a new preset of gear ready and made for the Sun Wukong, who is he's actually sitting in some rank 16 crit damage gauntlets, but he has very, very low crit rate. He has very, very low crit chance. He's also in some regeneration gear, HP percent main stat. I mean, this is like a fine piece of gear. It's a bit sad that it didn't roll into any speed rolls. Of course, speed is like a premium stat to have on your regeneration pieces, but yeah, regeneration gear is not it for the Wukong. We really need to give him more accuracy as well. He's only sitting at 49 accuracy down there, which is really not good. He does need accuracy to be able to block enemy buffs and steal enemy buffs and those kinds of things with his A2 or his A3. And so yeah, we're going to go ahead and switcheroo his gear, man. So he's going to keep around the same amount of attack. He's going to lose a bit of health. It doesn't matter, right? The Wukong has a passive where he revives anyway, like every few turns after he dies, so he's totally fine. The crit rate is going to go up by a lot at the cost of crit damage. It's fine. Crit damage is more for, you know, the early mid-game and stuff when you've actually got the gear to support high crit rate and crit damage, but this is going to be the new Wukong set. Go ahead. Oh, he actually hasn't got a ring equipped. He actually hasn't even got a ring equipped, man. So we have some, like, attack percent ring here. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh my god, we have, like, no silver, though. Ooh, I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, because I mean, if you've got no silver, then spending a little bit of silver, you know, you're not really losing much, are you? He didn't have anything anywhere to begin with. And so even without his gear rolled up, I feel like the Wukong's already in a better place. If we roll in a little bit more crit rate here on the weapon and on the shield, that should be able to knock us up to 100%. We only need like 1 or 2 rolls in order for that to happen. But even just with this gear, I feel like the Wukong is drastically improved. Man, I'm going to have to sell some artifacts to make some silver real quick. Okay, I'll just be a moment. Okay, so basically I went in and I sold all of the 3-star accessory artifacts because, yeah, I'm just going to rank these up to 8 at least. We get a double attack roll there, which is, you know, not great, not terrible. This headpiece isn't really that great for Wukong. Obviously, would have been nice to have some crit damage and stuff on here. But, you know, it's there for the 2-set piece just to get the accuracy up a little bit for perception. Likewise, we'll go on and roll the shield up. We finally get a little bit of a crit roll there, so that's lovely. Is that all we take up for the time being? We could hypothetically take this chest plate up just a little bit further. Oh my god, as it absolutely breaks the bank. Okay, the roll isn't that great, but it's fine. Attack percentage is the most important thing. And yeah, that's what I would do with the good old Sun Wukong. And finally, this leaves us with the Ugo, who has a few spots to clear up all up and over here. So I'm just throwing a random bunch of off pieces onto the Ugo. One thing that you got to pay attention to in the early game, especially when you have like no gear to work with in like your early months of raid, don't get too obsessed about trying to equip sets and like matching sets of gear. Oh, we need like 2 pieces of speed and 4-piece perception, or like I really want to get like a character geared out in full immortal or something, you know. Just if the gear has good stats for the champion, like what does Ugo want to be? She wants like decent health. She wants high speed to be the fastest champion on your team because she's a big debuffer, so you want her to debuff in first before you attack. And she needs accuracy to land her skills. This weapon right here might just be 4 stars. Just rolled it up to an 8, maybe a 12. I probably wouldn't take it up to 16, there's no point, but the substats on this are just good. Like, pay real attention to the substats and the main stats, but particularly the substats on your gear pieces. These are just often overlooked. Don't get obsessed with trying to equip sets just for the sake of it, you know. Chest piece right here is an accuracy main piece that we've actually pulled off of the kill and swapped onto the Ugo. The Ugo before this had the crit rate gauntlets, I think, which is a little bit nutty. This is a really, really good accuracy shield here, by the way. Another accuracy roll here or another speed roll would be very, very excellent. So the Ugo's accuracy, again, it's a little bit low, 118. It's like stage 11, stage 12 dungeons that you can clear with that. But the speed is very, very good, right? The health has increased. Great. It's fine. The accuracy is going to need to be sort of built upon in future builds, getting like the Ugo an amulet with accuracy and a banner with accuracy and that kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure that right now, we can just go ahead and clear our way through all of hard campaign without too much trouble. It looks like we've had oh my god, our best time on stage 1 here was 14 minutes. What on earth was going on there, dude? What the hell did we clear that with, man? Okay, so as we clear our way through all of these stages right now, again, what a stress, just getting your campaign farmer set up as quickly as possible is usually the most important champion to build first. Then I would say, for me, the second most important champion to build out on your account, well, if you start off with the bloody Sun Wukong, right, and you start off with one of, like, the free legendary promo codes or whatever, like the Monkey King code or something, then by all means, you can take the Monkey King up to level 60 next. That could be totally fine just because it's a legendary, right? And they're just going to be very, very powerful in the early game on your account anyway. So you kind of might as well. Now, the next most important type of champion to rank up next, for me at least, is just taking a few buffers and debuffers up to level 50, right? This account started off with the Ugo because it used my beginner promo link. And Ugo is a free champ, well, free on this account at least, where you're going to get an AoE decreased defense debuff, which is amazing for annihilating waves of enemies. It's going to be fantastically powerful into a whole lot of dungeons, and it's just going to help you kill waves and bosses for that matter way faster, which is sweet. The types of champions you want to prioritize, for me at least, is going to be increase speed buffers. Any champ that's bringing the 30% version, so the strong version of increased speed across your entire team, is going to be great. There is a campaign farmable rare called Diabolist that you can pick up by farming the stage that we're clearing right now of campaign, right? Stage 12 of campaign, you can get a chance at a rare drop of the Diabolist champion, and she's a fantastic champ to, yeah, take up to a level 50 and have as your increased speed buffer champion. Also, the 30-day log and reward champion, High Katoon, can do that job for you as well, especially if you've got the epic skill tomes to put into her. Because she takes epic skill tomes, she's a bit more expensive to build out than the completely free, or like completely free to play-ish Diabolist, but Haikatoon is another fantastic option for you to consider building out as your increase speed champ. She also has a aura that gives you an increased speed buff in all battles as well. And so the Haikatoon is really a pretty incredibly powerful champion as the 30-day login reward champ, even just for this increased ally speed in all battles aura by 19%. Speed is the best stat in the game in Raid, by the way. For anybody who's new at this and is not quite sure how to prioritize stats and stuff like that, generally speaking, like, your damage dealers can afford to be a bit slower. You want them to attack in last. But for the most part, just having extremely fast champions on your team that can get up their buffs and their debuffs very, very quickly is going to be huge. Making so that you can take 2 turns while the enemy only takes 1 turn because you're so much faster, right? And you've got things like increased speed buffs is going to be massive. And alright, man, that is every single stage in hard campaign cleared. Just got to pick up the brews, grab that good old sacred shard, man, feels good. And then we're also going to make a start into brutal as well. I'll catch up with you guys once this is done. Actually, I'm just not going to sit here blasting 3 stars across all these campaign stages. Mr. Account Owner, Mr. Grozzle can go ahead and do that in his own time. I've got a billion accounts to get to tonight, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, once this campaign track is all farmed up, it's going to be another Sacred Shard. We're going to be able to farm campaign 12 stage 3 and farm up food champions way, way faster. It's the best stage that you can farm in. We're going to have all kinds of gems, which we could go ahead and use to... Never mind, we've got the gem mine fully upgraded, which is fantastic, good stuff. You've been watching my videos, man. You've been watching my recommendations. Maybe, you know, maybe you got that from somebody else. But, yeah. What we could do with all of those gems is buy a second set of masteries using gems across our champs. My choice for these would be between Sun Wukong and the Ugo, and the reason I think Ugo is a real consideration here is because getting the War Master up on the Ugo is great. It's going to increase the damage by quite a bit, giving her those masteries, and getting them nice and early, because frankly, we're going to be using Ugo everywhere, because I see that we've invested a good amount of our epic skill tomes into the Ugo as well, and she's almost fully booked up, and so I kind of feel like, we actually have a War Maiden as well, by the way, who's almost fully booked up as well. The problem is that the War Maiden's doing the same job as the Ugo. It's just we've almost got the Ugo fully bugged up, right? So they both bring AoE decreased defense. Well, Ugo brings AoE decreased defense and a hell of a lot more on top of that. And so I feel like the Ugo might be a good candidate to grab the masteries in first, even ahead of the Sun Wukong, who, of course, being a legendary champion, is just tougher to skill book out. And yeah, for that reason, I'd really deeply consider spending the 800 gems to get the masteries on the Ugo when we get those. Now, as for what champions to build out next, because that's the most, you know, important thing to start focusing on next, we touched on it a little bit earlier on. In a couple of days, we are going to be getting Haikatoon, of course, as our login reward champion, as a speed booster champ. And so I do want to bear that in mind as well as we run on through these. But based on what we have so far, honestly, I think I'd probably take the Ugo up to level 50 next, and then I take the Sun Wukong up to level 60 next. I see we've actually got a bunch of 5-star food champions built out and ready to go, actually. Okay, so maybe never mind. I would have taken the Ugo up to level 50 next, but given that the Sun Wukong is now so close to being ranked up to level 60 or to rank 6, we might as well take the Sun Wukong up to level 60 first, right? Might as well. We've got the food champion sitting there too. Then I would take the Ugo up to level 50 would be my next choice. And then you've got the decision to make on this account for your first speed booster. We've already touched on Haikatoon. Again, she's a little bit harder to build out because she's an epic champion and you're going to need even more epic skill tomes in order to max up her skills. And given that the Ugo is so close to getting all of those skill books that she needs to be fully maxed out in terms of skill books and skill tomes, I kind of feel like we should just be farming stage 12-3 on a brutal difficulty when we can, and just farming the crap out of copies of Diabolist, and just use those copies the same way that we use the War Maiden copies to max out all of her skills as well, and just level Diabolist up to level 50 and probably use her as a speed booster. Even if you eventually do replace the Diabolist with Haikatoon in time, like at some point in the future, it's fine. You're still going to use the Diabolist at level 50 anyway in all kinds of content like Faction Wars and Doom Tower secret rooms when you eventually get there, where you're only allowed to use champions from like the Demon Spawn and Lizardmen faction or whatever the secret room combo is. And she also brings on her A3 as well, some ally 10 meter fill and enemy 10 meter decrease on an AoE as well, man. So she's just a very, very, very solid speed booster. And I'm telling you now, man, if there's one stat that you do not want to underestimate in Raid, it is going to be heavy speed, and so getting one of those speed boosters on your team is like the second or third champ that you at least build up to level 50 as quick as possible in the first like 30 to 60 days of your raid adventures is going to be very, very crucial indeed. You really can't get them built up fast enough. Next up, and the next role that I like to build out, right, so you've got a couple of damage dealers, you've got your speed booster, you've got a decreased defense champion, that's usually going to be War Maiden, it's going to be Ugo if you use my beginner promo link to sign up. Ugo's going to do a great job at that. Then what you want is some kind of wave controller champion, somebody who's going to provoke all enemies, or stun all enemies, or freeze all enemies, or do something to just control waves, right? Because in this super early game, in the first 30 days, you're kind of just one-shotting your way through the waves, and it's not that much of a big deal, it's not that much of a big problem. But eventually, once you reach higher stages of dungeons, you're going to find that the waves of enemies, well, they don't just die in one skill anymore, and so you've actually got to control them a little bit, right? Decrease speed champions, that kind of thing. The only option I'm seeing for that right now on this account is Dudan the Runic, who can be used to place a taunt buff on himself on a 310 cooldown when it's fully bugged up, and the taunt buff is great, you know, it draws enemy attacks. Good stuff. Also places Strengthen on himself and Counterattack on himself, and the Counterattack is a very, very good buff to have, by the way, because his A1, whenever he counterattacks in, he has a chance of removing a random debuff from all allies, which is great. Like, honestly, Dudan the Runic is a great champ. He also has an attack all enemies, places shield buff on all allies, equal to 15% of his max HP, so good stuff again. Is he the best option for this job for controlling waves? Well, his taunt only lasts for one turn, and that is a major drawback. Realistically, you're looking for champions like good old Miscreated Monster. This guy is great, right? He's got attack all enemies on a 3-turn cooldown when bugged, 50% chance of placing stun across all enemies for 1 turn. He also brings ally protection as well, which is a great skill for just keeping your guys alive. Means he's going to soak a bunch of damage that your teammates take. And so, yeah, he's like a bit of a damage sponge, brings an AoE stun. That's the kind of champ that you want to be looking to build, right? Another good budget option is if you pull your way into the much more accessible Nalhorn. This guy's great. I use him on my free-to-play account. He's only rare as well, so he doesn't take, you know, a whole lot to build out in terms of skill bucks. And on his A2, place a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. An increased defense buff on himself as well for a couple of turns on a 3-turn cooldown. And so he's just a very good, reliable kind of crowd control champion. Very useful for when you are no longer able to just one-shot your way through all of the enemy waves, because that time is coming. As a final sort of note on this as well, I am kind of curious to see what we are doing into Clan Boss. It looks like we're just hitting normal. We aren't quite getting the Clan Boss dead just yet, and this is the team that we are rolling with. So it's really too early game in this account for me to really do anything with this team. What I would say is that the Ugo and the War Maiden are kind of sharing the same role here. They're both bringing decreased defense. Beyond that, the War Maiden isn't doing a whole lot. She just brings a very weak poison, but it's so weak that it's almost negligible. What we'd really like to be doing with this Demon Lord Clan Boss team is keep the kill. Kill's great. We can max out the Sun Wukong, use him here for a little while. Ideally, we'd get like a second poison champion, like a Frozen Banshee or something like that, like another good budget poison champ that we can just take up to a level 50, maybe to a 60 over time. But 2 good poison champions, a good defensive champion, somebody that brings defensive skills like decrease attack debuff against the boss, increase defense buff for your own team, ally protect buff for your own team, and we might also want to try and squeeze in a little bit of healing as well. But like I say, this account is still very early days. Now, I believe this account did use our beginner promo link, which Fane is also one of the champions that you'll be getting your hands on very soon on this account. When your account hits account level 40, you'll get your hands on Fane, and she can serve very nicely as the second poisoner for this account. Just another bonus of using the sign of Blink, you know what I'm saying? But she places that decreased attack debuff that we were just talking about. Great stuff. Like a crucially important buff to debuff to bring into Demon Lord Clan Boss. She also brings double poison as well on this A2, and she also brings decreased defense and weaken debuffs as well, which is just going to drastically increase your damage, your direct damage rather, dealt to the Demon Lord Clan Boss. And so honestly, I feel like this account is in pretty damn good hands, man. It's doing all right. We just got that campaign stage to farm up. That's going to get our hands on that second ancient shard. Make sure that you are never ever pulling shards, of course, especially these sacreds. Wait until there is is a 2x event active, so double the chance to pull legendary champions from Sacreds. Usually going to be your best time to be pulling your Sacred Shards on a super early game account. Same thing with Voids and Ancients as well. Just wait for those good old 2x events to start filling out your roster, man. Oh, and goddamn, I didn't realize, but our clan is a little bit higher level than I was expecting. If we go to the clan shop right here, these are fragments that you definitely want to be buying. It's just going to eventually give you a free legendary champion. It's a long-term investment. You're spending a lot of coins to get your hands on these champions over time, but definitely start spending these coins to just buy up the Yannicka fragments. I won't do it right now. I'll just leave that for the account owner to do. But yeah, you can buy 5 Yannicka fragments per week. Make sure that you are not missing these. Make sure that you are completing your clan quests, which it looks like we're on our way to doing most of those. We might struggle with that artifact upgrade one because we're so low on silver, but that's neither here nor there. Just make sure that we're getting these Yannicka fragments at least, and once we're earning some more clan gold and we can afford to start buying the Yakal fragments as well, we should definitely be doing that. Okay, man, I hope that this mini takeover was helpful, Mr. John Barrett. I'm going to hop on over to the next account. All right, man, so welcome to account number 2. This account is also just a few weeks old, and frankly, a lot of stuff that I covered on the first account also applies to this one. That said, man, the champion builds on this one are looking pretty goddamn saucy. We've got some questionable builds going on as well, but at least the kill is a little bit over crit cap, but crit cap is good. Accuracy is looking okay for the first, 3 weeks of an account, you know? Good stuff. Speed, tasty, juicy, attack, crunchy, looking pretty good, man. We've also got a Vogoth taken up to level 50, and this is what the champion roster is looking like right now. I can already tell that the account owner here, Mr. Dwin, is much more experienced with Raid. This isn't his first rodeo. I can tell just by the champs that have been prioritized here and have been ranked up as we go. We've also got the Fane up and active on the account, provided by the beginner promo link. By the way, man, it's a damn good one, boys. Make sure you don't miss out. And so for the most part on this account, Dwin is looking for just some pointers and where to try and progress his account next. So we're going to be talking about what sort of champions we want to be maxing up here, and yeah, what we can do to take this account to the next level. So I'm going to have a quick poke around and then get back to y'all. Ooh. I'll tell you something that I've noticed right away on this account, because it's so early, it's hard to say. Okay, so we're only sitting on, I've just input some filters here in the fitting room. We only have 4 pieces total of speed gear that are rank 4 or above, right? A few 5-star pieces here. That's all we've got. Okay, so one of the recommendations I'm going to give to this account straight away before we start anything is that straight up, there is about to be a... In fact, hang on. The Dragon Tournament is active right now. What am I even talking about? I would say blast the hell out of Dragon Tournaments whenever they are active in the first couple months of your account, man. It's so important. Good, we're able to farm stage 10. That's good enough to get started. Stage 11 is also fine to be farming up if you can. Just blast the hell out of it, man. Get all of the free rewards from farming the Dragon Tournament, and most importantly, you want to be prioritizing holding on to accuracy drops and speed drops, right? Hitting accuracy checks and having enough accuracy to land your skills in the early game is really tough. The accuracy set is like an A or like an... Yeah, I'd say it's like an A tier set in the first couple months of your account when you're just getting started. It very quickly drops off and gets replaced by, you know, perception gear, by pinpoint gear, just better accuracy sets overall in time. But in the early game, when you're really struggling for gear, accuracy 2 set pieces are just insanely good. You want to be looking for accuracy pieces with speed and accuracy rolls as the substats on those. And same thing with speed, man. Accuracy and speed rolls on your speed gear from Dragon are going to be absolutely excellent. But then again, to be honest, basically any artifact set that's giving like crit percentage, accuracy, or speed as substats, it's pretty much going to be really good, and you're going to be holding on to it, especially if it's like a rank 5 piece, you know. So yeah, Dragon's Lair, great dungeon to be farming early on. In fact, let me just check. Maybe we've been farming the crap out of this. Okay, we've actually got started in the Dragon Tournament, which is a good sign, man. It's a good sign. But yeah, just make sure that we're prioritizing that accuracy and speed gear. Okay, man, the Kale is fully booked up. The Kale is fully mastered. Very good stuff, man. This account is just looking like it's off to an amazing start. A lot of the super fundamental stuff that we covered in the first takeover is kind of handled in this one, which is great to see. What I will say is that as far as what champions we should be building out next goes, similar rules apply. I definitely take the Sun Wukong up to level 60. Just having a couple of built-out damage dealers at max level is going to be great. It's just going to help you clear through waves nice and fast. We've already got the Ugo taken care of, and a whole bunch of skill books in the Ugo as well, which pleases me greatly to see. Great, man. Nice. You could be using this champion forever anyway. I fully support putting the epic skill tomes into the Ugo in this case, and that decreased defense buff is just going to be useful everywhere in the early game as is. We have a couple of specialist champions here that I'm going to get to in just a sec, but continuing on the theme, as for increased speed champions, we do have an heiress sitting here, so like the increased speed champions will be my next priority to take up to at least level 50. Heiress does have a chance to bring increased speed on the A2. She requires like being fully booked up in order to make it consistent. We do also have a Diabolist sitting down here at rank 4. And we've been putting copies of Diabolist into Diabolist to max out her skills, which is just excellent. Okay, man. Lovely. Awesome. Yeah, so I take the Sun Wukong up to level 60 next on this account. Then I'd be taking the Diabolist up to level 50 and making her the fastest champion on my team by a lot as quickly as possible. And that alone is going to do a huge amount of work on this account. In fact, that could actually be the beginnings of just like a very early game clan boss team that we can then build on and optimize in time, like the Kale, the Sun Wukong. We can throw the Ugo in there just for the heals and for the decreased defense. Throw the Diabolist on the team for the increased speed buffs. Now we're attacking in much faster. And then just put the Vorgoth on the team for like a bit of healing, I guess, from his passive. Like whenever the clan boss attacks in, he's going to do a bit of healing. So that could be like the beginnings of a very early clan boss team. Of course, we want like a decreased attack champion and maybe like an ally protect or increased defense champ on the team as well. And then like a second poisoner or something can eventually replace the Sun Wukong. But, you know, we're just getting the beginnings of a team. We're just setting the foundations, you know what I'm saying, with champions like this. And buying time to start maxing out some specialist champs, right? So once we've taken care of the Wukong, the Diabolist, those kind of guys, I would then switch attention heavily into the Fane and probably take the Fane up to level 60 once we've taken care of the Diabolist, right? The Fane level 60, fully booked out. You will be using this champion on your clan boss team pretty much forever. I don't know, unless you get like mega lucky and pull a Geomancer. So, and even then you might still use the Fane on the team to replace the kill, you know. Fane is just insane into Demon Lord Clan Boss. She brings a double hitter as well. That steals a bit of enemy 10 meter, so that can also be good for a little bit of finite progression too. But we'll get to finite in just a second because we have another specialist waiting in the wings. But yeah, Fane, we've already covered her. She brings all kinds of debuffs that are just so integral into Demon Lord Clan Boss that you might as well build her out once you've got like your core dungeoneering team sort of built out that we've already covered. Fane should be a big priority to take into Demon Lord Clan Boss after the fact. Then we have some options, right? We have a choice to make after this stage. I'm tempted. Okay, so we've got Wuzgar sitting here. This guy is a great champion to build to specialize into Fire Knight. Very good kit for Fire Knight indeed. He brings a quadruple hitter on his A1, which is fantastic. He then brings some healing and a counterattack buff for himself as well on his A2, and then puts a reflect damage buff up on all allies as well on his A3, which can also help to break through the Fire Knight shield stacks. While he doesn't bring any 10 meter control, he brings so many instances of damage to break through the Fire Knight shield that then you can go ahead and just finish taking this Elf Guard up to like level 50 or something and use her as one of your 10 meter controllers. It's great to see that you're putting all of the copies of Elfguard into Elfguard. I'm loving what I'm seeing on this account so far. Then you can go ahead and bring like the Fane into Fire Knight as well, maybe. You know, double hitter here, bit of 10 meter steal. You've got some ways and means to control the boss's 10 meter. But Wuzgar could be a good specialist champion to maybe take up to 50 into Fire Knight. Option number 2, and the one that I'm leaning towards a little bit more heavily, because Huskarul is going to help you everywhere. Huskarul is insane. This guy is crazy as a wave clearer, and the best part about him is if you get lucky with your epic skill tomes and where they go into this guy, you don't need that many. If you can dodge the A1, you just don't need that many. He brings a stun on the A1. It's a fine A1, but this A2, holy crap. 3-turn cooldown, 75% chance on an attack all enemies to stun, and also decrease 10 meters of enemies under stuns by 15%. What? That's an insanely high land rate stun for a epic champion. He's also defense based, very easy to keep alive, you know, good defense stats as a result. And so this guy's going to do the job of helping you control the waves like we spoke about Nalhorn in the previous account takeover. Huskarul is going to do the same thing here, right? He's going to make it so that when you get to a stage in dungeons where you're not able to just one-shot the waves, don't worry about it, because the waves can't move anyway. Huskarul has got that covered, right? He's taking care of business. Also, he does have the passive increase the damage inflicted by all allies by 15% when attacking stunned enemies, and so he's going to do a little bit to help you clear waves in that sense as well. He additionally also brings it's actually a 4-turn cooldown. Okay, it's a 4-turn cooldown, increased defense buff, so it's not super reliable to bring into Demon Lord Clan Boss, but he could be a consideration until you find something better for bringing increased defense into Demon Lord Clan Boss, man. May or may not work out, but I think he'd be worth a shot in that role. See if it improves your damage at all. But ideally, you're going to be finding a better increased defense option, a better supporting option in your Clan Boss team. But everywhere else, everywhere else where there's wave content, Hoskarul could be an amazing, amazing control champion option. Dude, love this account, by the way, dude. Look at that, man, the goddamn Gala long braids. I tell you what, man. It's something about the dwarf characters in the, I'm not the kind of guy who likes the dwarf faction, Lord of the Rings, the dwarves. You know, back when I was a teenager, I used to collect the Lord of the Rings Games Workshop miniatures. You know, Battles for Middle-earth miniatures and all of that. I was never a fan of the dwarves, dude. Never a fan of the dwarves in any fantasy universe ever. But Raid just makes the dwarves badass, man. I don't know if it's the hairstyle of the female characters. They always have these insane hairstyles, man. They just look so cool, you know? Yeah, I don't know, man. Raid does them well, and Gala Longbraid's absolutely badass champ as well. We just got a lot of fun champions here to build out. We even have the, it's actually Greybeard, not Nalhorn. Okay. Oh, yeah, I should point out as well that while we could level up the Huskarul to a level 50 or a level 60 and use him as the wave controller, we do also have the option of just using the Vorgoth as the wave controller. Downside of Vorgoth is that he takes a lot of skill books to max up his A2. He's an option. It's also a provoke, and so he's going to be taking a lot of hits, whereas Huskarul just stuns and prevents the damage, and so the Vorgoth could be a bit more gear hungry. I don't know, man. It's definitely a call to be made, you know. But either way, man, the Huskarul is a great, great champion that we should for sure consider here. Now, I should also point out as well that considering the dungeon teams that we have, we're going to have the damage. We're probably going to have the wave control between Vorgoth and or Huskarul. And we're going to have a specialist here and there to help take care of Fire Knight. That's all great. One thing that we are lacking here is good 10-meter controller champions that are going to help out into Spider and Fire Knight as well. And just really mastering the basic dungeons and trying to farm them up to a stage 16 is just a great early game goal to have. Fane is going to bring a little bit of 10-meter control on her A1 like we already talked about. The Elf Guard is going to provide a little bit of help as well. Problems with the Elf Guard is that it's kind of all she does, and it's a 2-turn cooldown 10-meter decreaser that she's got. Can she do the job alone? Sometimes into the lower stages where the boss has less and less movement speed, but eventually she usually needs an extra little helping hand, you know, to keep the boss's 10-meter under control. And so, oh my god, we have the Armiger here, and we're also feeding copies into the Armiger as well. So yeah, this is a champ that we could take up after 2 or 3 months of the account's life cycle. Just because he's a little bit tough to build out in the super early game, it's fine to kick the can down the road with your Armiger build, but this is a great uncommon champ to bring along. His A1 is obviously fantastic. Decrease the 10-meter by 30% of the enemy if his A1 attack is critical. This does mean that you need to build him out with both 100% crit rate as well as enough accuracy to be landing his debuffs, and then he needs to be not so squishy that he dives on the waves on the way to the boss, and he also needs good movement speed so he actually gets the A1 off often enough, and so hitting his basic stat thresholds can be a little bit tough where you don't have that much gear going for you. But you know what, that's even more reason to farm the hell out of the current Dragon tournament. Couple of pieces of accuracy gear, 4 pieces speed. Yeah, your Armiger should be in a good spot, but it can take a little while to get a good stockpile of rank 5, speed accuracy gear going for you. Oh god, dude, I just checked that. I just paid some closer attention to the Sun Wukong's gear, dude, and oh, what is this? Little one ring over here, man. We've got some Nenya action going. That's one of the elven rings. Never mind, man. I'm sure my Lord of the Rings nerdosity over here, man. But little 4 attack ring here. Ooh, making all... How much does it cost to remove this? 2,000 silver. It's not even worth 200 silver. What are we talking about, man? Yeah, we could definitely use, farming a bit of spider as well to get some better accessories. Same deal with the Dark Elves. We don't have a single accessory to equip on the kill. I guess we're just not really in a spot where we can super farm spider right now. Obviously, as well, the Wukong here, you'll notice that his speed boots aren't upgraded. There's an artifact enhancement event coming up, so yeah, I'm going to trust that Dwin has what it takes and has the silver in the bank and has the willing and the resolve to pump a whole bunch bunch of levels into this gear as he goes. Also, these crit rate gauntlets could do with just maxing out straight away. As far as gauntlets go, I'm pretty sure that we just have like no crit rate gauntlets that are any good. Yeah, we just need to do a lot of dungeon tournament farming here, man, especially like I say with Dragon. We'll tell you though, a champion build that I will look at, because this Ugo's build is suspiciously off. Like the Vorgoth build is great, his accuracy is good, his speed's okay, you know. The Sun Wukong's very, very slow, but he needs his boots rolling up to 16, really. The kills also fine. He's fastest champion on the team by a lot. Fastest champion on the account, excuse me, by quite a lot. The Ugo should really be the fastest champion on the account, man. Yeah, we should definitely just roll these rank 6 boots up to 16 as soon as possible. It doesn't even matter about the stat rolls, it's just about the speed. We just want the Ugo to be the fastest champion on the team so that she instantly gets off the decreased defense before we then attack in with our nukas. The kill is at like 170 something speed, so we got to get faster than the kill. That might be a little bit tough, to be honest. Let's see if we can pull it off, man, with a quick rebuild here on the Ugolet. I also got to draw attention to the fact as well that this is the chest piece that we have on the Ugo right now. I mean, the 3 speed is fine. The defense is okay. The attack percent of the crit? The attack percent? No, man. This might actually be one of those cases where this flat stat chest piece is actually just better than what we have equipped right now, purely because it's giving the potential for yet more HP rolls and more speed rolls. I think it's honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just knock it up to like an 8 or something. I don't want to spend too much silver because, again, yeah, it double rolls into the... I take this up to rank 12. Mr. Dwim, if you're watching this, go ahead and take this chess piece up to rank 12. The Ugo, you've got to remember the Ugo's heal scales off of the Ugo's health, right? It heals all allies based on a percentage of the Ugo's health. So the more health you've got on the Ugo, it's going to be much, much more valuable than attack. We also get the speed roll as well. You know, ideally we get another speed roll here. Don't take it all the way up to rank 12. That's just a waste of silver on any flat stat item, but this chess piece for like super early on in the game, as we are right now, pretty good. You know, it's going to do a job for us. Okay, so I was just looking for any headgear that gives like speed and accuracy to see if we can bolster up both of those, because they're both a bit lacking. And this is what we got. Yeah, we just haven't farmed at that many dungeon tournaments. We just need some better pieces, man. That's really all there is to it. That said, once we go ahead and rank these boots up to, I'm going to go ahead and equip these. Actually, I feel pretty safe to go ahead and do that. Yeah, once we rank these boots up to rank 16, which we definitely should do in the upcoming artifact enhancement, going to be some free points, and it will get the Ugo to be the fastest champion on our team, which is exactly where she wants to be, right? So, yeah, that's going to be a happy little, albeit very, very minor rebuild on the Ugo. She doesn't have any rings better than this 4 attack ring as well, which is a little bit sad, but is what it is. Okay, alright, dude. I was going to do some rebuilding on the Husker rule as well, but just to really drive it home, this is what we're working with here, man. Let's say we were looking for some speed boots, right? The man could use some boots. Give the man some shoes, for Christ's sake, man. He's just come out of the dread wastes, right? He's walked a long journey across the desert to get here. His feet are all bent up to hell. Get him some sandals, man. What speed boots have we got? Oh... We don't have a lot to work with, man. We don't have a lot to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I'll just say, you know what, the Husker roll, build him out with good accuracy, you know, and similar to the Ugo, make the guy as fast as humanly possible so that when he's booked out and when we're actually using the Husker roll potentially in future, or the Vorgoth, we could go the Vorgoth route as well, just make these guys as fast as humanly possible, get them booked up, and the idea is you just want them to be as quick as hell so that they can spam their crowd control skills as much as humanly possible. That's really all there is to it, man. So, yeah, I hope that these 2 takeovers gave a little bit of direction to people who feel like they're grasping at straws a little bit in their first 30 days in Raid. Don't sweat it, man. We've all been there, you know, there's a hell of a lot to learn in this game, and just grasping the basics can take like a couple months. It can take some time, you know. There's a lot of good tips and tricks videos up there, a lot of them on this channel, I like to think. You know, I think we did an okay job with our early game tips and tricks videos on this channel, and mistakes to avoid and that kind of thing, so make sure to check out that playlist if you wanna. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one, man. If you're looking to get involved in this account takeover series, then make sure to go ahead and make a post in the account takeover submissions channel in our Discord server, which is linked down below in the video description box. And of course, make sure that you sign up to Raid using our beginner promo link. Accounts like we covered today, the 2 accounts that we covered today, that sign up using our beginner promo link are gonna get all kinds of special access and priority queuing, you know, for getting involved in this series, because frankly, it's the least I can do, man, for y'all's using my link. So thanks so much for that. All right, man, thanks for watching, guys. Do enjoy the rest of your nights, and I'm gonna catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.